That puts the Giants on the clock. And for me, they really need a number one outside threat on the outside offensively. And we've already seen this run on wide receivers start to take place. Jalen Hyatt makes a lot of sense to me right there. They need a guy that's a bona fide number one outside threat. Hyatt had a great year. He had a great feel for that system, and I know it was a unique system, but boy, you talk about a deep threat. He certainly is a quality player. I love Jalen Hyatt. And when you talk with teams that played against Jalen Hyatt, they'll say, like, he was tough. Talented, tough, made tough catches. So I like him right there. Cowboys. Okay, so the Cowboys, they have to get somebody to help Dak Prescott out. I thought about running back here. I thought maybe is it Jahmyr Gibbs? But then I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? There's some really good tight ends in here. And Jerry has had good luck with tight ends, and they're at their best, generally speaking, when they've got a good tight end. So Dalton Kincaid, the tight end from Utah, I think he makes some sense. They kind of need their next Jason Witten, if you will, to control and solidify the middle of the field. So I go Dalton Kincaid right there. Now the Bills pop up. Okay, and this is going to be an exciting end to the first round for me when we get to Kansas City, because you've got these teams that they're going to be there in the end for the foreseeable future, and they're all picking here in the last few picks. Save for the Saints, you've got Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Chiefs. And I'm like, all of these teams are going to be looking at the board and they're going to be like, man, there's some good players available that can help us in areas that make us or continue to make us strong. So with the Bills, I think that they need to give Josh Allen a little bit of help at running back. There's where I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs' game. He's versatile. He catches it out of the backfield as well as anybody. Now, is he not quite Bijan Robinson? Yeah, he's not quite Bijan Robinson because I don't think he runs between the tackles with the same feel that Bijan does. But when you get him into some space, when you can check the ball down to a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs and he can make everybody miss and he can run the ball tough, I love this pick. Now, he got in trouble a couple of times early in the year for blitz pickup. Now, that was not necessarily an issue late in the year, so you know that developed. And when you see this guy run the football, whether he's catching it out of the backfield or whether they hand it to him between the tackles or on that stretch play, it's explosive, and I really love his game. And think about Josh Allen and the Bills with another weapon on the outside. They get better. So then Cincinnati comes up. And I think Cincinnati would get caught and they'd be thinking to themselves, like, do I really love any of the offensive linemen on the board? Probably not, because I already told you there was an offensive line rush in the middle of the first round. And so what hasn't been a rush yet? Well, a deep position group that could give Joe Burrow some help right away is tight end. So how about Darnell Washington, the tight end from Georgia? I think it feels like a perfect fit right there. Now, was he the best tight end on his team in college? No, but that's because Brock Bowers would be the best tight end in this draft right now. And he's got to play another year of college football. I love Washington. I love his game. And you give Joe Burrow another weapon. You know, this Georgia team was better offensively than I think we give them credit. Washington was a big reason. Obviously, Bowers. This guy is physically very gifted and talented. I think that he can play inline. He can help them in the run game if needed. But more than anything, you take some of the stress off of their outside players, right? Jamar, those guys, and you give them some help in the red zone by solidifying the middle of the field. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now you got this sandwich pick, right? So you got Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Chiefs, these four teams that we all think are going to be great. And then the Saints are back there. This is via like San Francisco, Miami, and Denver, like a wild one in there. I think that the Saints need defensive line help. And I think Brian Brzee, the tackle from Clemson, makes a lot of sense to the Saints there with the 29th pick. At this point, you could see a trade, because if someone really wanted to get Will Levis under a first-round contract and not a second-round contract so that they would have an extra year of team control for a prospective franchise quarterback, then you could absolutely see a trade here. But I didn't trade in for Will Levis. Levis to me is a guy that he's a bit of a thrower, and I want a starting pitcher. You know, there's guys who play the position like a middle reliever, and they come in with like one dominant pitch. I don't see the requisite change of speeds from Levis, where he really understands how to layer the ball and use touch and anticipate windows in tight spaces. So that's why I'm not trading up for him in the first round. And everyone says, like, well, that means you hate Will Levis. Well, no. I think he's still one of the best, 35, 40 players in the draft, which is special. I just think that he might fall to the second round. And we'll see how this comes as I get more information and we go into this second mock draft. So my last 2 picks in the first round here, Philadelphia. I like Ringo, the corner from Georgia. He's the best player available. They can get better. And you look at the Eagles, and then they would be thinking to themselves, wait, we get Bijan Robinson and Keely Ringo? Sign us up. That leaves the Super Bowl champs at 31. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I just can't help myself because Zay Flowers is on the board. Give Patrick Mahomes another slot weapon, right? Like, give him a guy that understands how to operate in space, create separation in tight windows. Zay is a hell of a player. I think he had a great Senior Bowl. Obviously, he catches it well. He was lost a little bit up there at Boston College, but this is the type of guy that you put him with Patrick Mahomes and you put him with Andy Reid, and he immediately becomes a guy that can give you 50, 60 catches a year. I mean, right there, he's wide open. But trust me when I tell you, when he runs routes, he breaks ankles of the defensive backs. He's clean, he's sudden, he's got burst, great hands. And there's the defending Super Bowl champions getting another weapon for what is right now the best player in the league in Patrick Mahomes. I think that that's a great idea, and I think that would be a great pick. So there you have it. Whew. Mock Draft 1.0.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here, College Football on Fox.